Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. Well, my guest this morning, let me just start out from there. First of all, we got Wahab Shitu. Mr. Shitu is a lawyer and a lecturer at the University of Lagos, and indeed, for that matter, one of the EFCC lawyers. Thank you very much, Wahab, for coming on.
My pleasure,
Indeed.
Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. And Wale Ogunade. Wale also is a lawyer. He's an activist. In fact, sometimes when you say Voters Awareness Initiative, oh, you know, that must be Wale, but we're not really necessarily here for those aspects today. It's a matter of the law that that's why I have these legal luminaries, and we're going to try and understand it. Now, I'm talking about the $9.6 billion Arbitral Award against Nigeria. Now, as we speak, there are Nigerian lawyers in the UK. In fact, they arrived yesterday in the UK, and the whole idea is to fight. What's that word? You see, this is the problem with the law. We're going to fight the thing becoming effective. We're going to, well, help me out here. We're going to fight. Nigeria is fighting the enforcement of that arbitral award. You see, you can't use judgment. Although it has subsequently been confirmed as the judgment, but enough of my own lawyering. Now let me hand over to the real guys. Wahab, could you please give us some sort of a background? Because all we know, for the most part out there in the public, is that $9.6 billion, how did that happen? What do you have by way of background to how we got to this stage?
The whole thing started on the 11th January 2010.
Okay.
When a purported contract for gas supply and processing was entered into by the federal government. I mean, by the then former petroleum minister.
Okay.
Rewan Lukman.
Yes.
Now late.
Yes. And he was doing so on behalf, purportedly
on behalf of the federal
government.
And on that side too, in terms of the agreement, the director legal in the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, then one Grace Taiga, signed as a witness to that agreement.
Okay.
And on the side of the Process and Industrial Development Company, the company is registered in Virginia with a local affiliate in Nigeria. Now, on the side of that company, we had Michael Quinn, who signed for that company.
Okay.
And then again, one Mohammed Kusazi,
okay.
director.
Those don't sound like Nigerian names.
No, it's a Nigerian.
Oh,
Kusazi, yeah.
Okay.
Mohammed Kusazi signed, the commercial division of that company, signed as a witness.
Okay.
Now, under that agreement, the federal government was to supply gas through Adas Petroleum and some other petroleum companies to P&D for processing. And the P&D was to establish a factory, a facility at Calabar in Cross River to process the gas and all that. And they represented that they had gotten a land at Calabar for that purpose. All of these were incorporated into the agreement.
Okay.
But what we discovered is that this agreement that was signed, by the parties of the federal government did not follow due process. In that such an agreement ought to have been taken before the Federal Executive Council for approval. But you all know what happened. Yadra was sick and all that. That was not done. That agreement ought to have been taken before the Bureau for Public Procurement in order to establish whether there is an objection. That also was, the agreement was never referred to. Again, when, investigations was conducted at Ministry of Lands at Cross River, it was discovered that no land was in fact allocated to P&ID, contrary to the representation in the contract that a land, which was also an integral part of the contract, who will supply you gas, you will process in the facility.
Yes.
So that land was never there. So there was no certificate of occupancy, allocated. In actual fact, investigators discovered that the intent to allocate land was eventually revoked because they were asked to pay fees for the CFO, which they did not pay.
Okay.
So there was no land anywhere.
That suggests to maybe a non-lawyerly mind that there didn't seem to be any intention from the very beginning to enter into any effective contract.
So clearly from what investigators have established, a case of fraud, massive fraud, and corrupt practices have been established as a prelude to the contract.
Okay.
Now, the aspects of a P&ID that they ought to have performed. They didn't perform those aspects. Now, they are saying that Nigeria refused to supply, by the agreement, gas was supposed to be supplied and all that, and that was not done. There was an arbitration clause in the agreement which they now ignited, and that led to this 9.6 billion by the arbitration, panel.
Did you say arbitrary?
I said arbitration,
Okay.
body.
But we think it's arbitrary anyway. We in Nigeria think it's arbitrary.
But the arbitral, tribunal has no powers.
Okay.
To has given an award for $9.6 billion, approximately about 20% of our foreign reserves against Nigeria. In fact, the highest in the history of arbitral award.
Yes.
In the whole world.
Now you are careful to be using the word award,
yes.
Not judgment.
Yes,
but
that award eventually was confirmed by a judgment of a commercial division of the English court.
Okay.
Now, in that same, after that judgment was obtained, which took place in August this year. But that, you recall that that judgment has been, the award has been made since 2017. But this judgment was made made now in September. And they now made an attempt to forfeit our access, to enforce the judgment.
Yes.
And the English court said, no, you can't bring an application to enforce the judgment without us listening to the other side. Let us hear from the federal government of Nigeria.
Now, might part of that have been hearing from us? I hear that we also now went to court locally.
So now, following the discoveries by EFCC has done a marvelous job. EFCC under Magu has done a marvelous job. Assembled, some of the best, in-house lawyers, led by Sanga. We have in the team Abba Mohammed. We also have Rotimi Oyedepo. This lawyer, and then Hanacho. These are in-house lawyers and investigators who have, after investigation, taken a case, charged the matter before the federal court, before Justice Inyangeko, who listened. There was a full-blown trial.
Okay.
Some of the representatives of P&ID.
Okay, because I was going to ask that.
Mohammed Kusasi.
Okay.
Who in fact witnessed the agreement. Was brought to trial.
And Tiger herself.
Tiger.
Okay.
In fact,
that's the lady, Grace Tiger.
No. Grace Tiger himself, who signed on behalf of for the federal government
as a witness,
was also brought before the court.
Okay.
And all of them admitted. Kusazi admitted that he was in fact the one who has been signing all agreements and representing, P&ID. And before that, all of these charges were read to Mohammed Kusazi. First of all, the two companies were, arraigned. You can charge corporate entities. The affiliated,
you people call them legal persons.
The Virginia, the company abroad, P&D abroad, and P&D Nigeria was charged, and they pleaded guilty.
Okay.
Of course, all documents were tendered, showing that all the requisite requirements that ought to have been satisfied were subverted. And those were tendered in exhibit. And the court eventually reached a decision after they pleaded guilty, winding up the companies. And when you wind up, they forfeit all access locally and anywhere those assets are found.
Okay.
Now, so we now have a judgment we are embodying forfeiture proceedings. We have a conviction. So that judgment is now taken. And even the charges that about 11 count charge that were preferred against various suspects As I speak, some of the suspects were also arraigned and have been remanded in custody, pending full-blown, other trial processes.
Okay.
Now, these, suspects, this judgment, a copy of the investigation report from the EFCC, and all other documents have now been taken by our lawyers abroad to present before the English court to forestall the enforcement and to set aside the arbitral award in the first stage, being rooted now, because there's a conviction now, being rooted in fraud and corrupt practices. So we intend but we know that before we can present such judgment, we have to register it. The crack team of lawyers, including the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, who is also doing a very good job. All of them are abroad now.
Yes.
Trying to present these documents to show.
Now, the legal day, the legal day to further this whole matter is on Thursday, I hear. That's when they should be appearing before a court. That is, the Nigeria team shall be appearing before a court. Maybe one of the questions that come to mind is, Wahaba said that, wait a minute, this thing goes back to, first of all, 2010, and in that case, and in the case of this whole award, that was 2017. Here we are in 2019 when it's now sort of blown open. What was going on? Where were we all that while? But now we're up in full force, and we're leading towards Thursday, right? That's why the legal team are in the UK preparing for that event.
Yeah. Before I quickly answer your question, let me quickly, before it runs off, that I hope particularly my people who are my friend and all those who are EFCC people are listening and watching, and he too will take it to the proper authorities, that I'm sure there will be many P&ID scams all over Nigeria, particularly surrounding the oil and the gas industry. They should look at it, because now to answer your question, that's why your question now comes in, that where was it that since 2010 till 2017, because everything was shrouded in mystery, nobody, those who are supposed to know about it, knew nothing about it. And you can see that sometimes this type of thing happened within a group of some few people. And of course, it's when it now became a big issue, now that they now come out. And how did it come out? When it became time for payment. Because all along I learned that when the whole matter was going on, it was going underground. Of course, arbitration is about people. There will be two parties to an arbitration. Who are those who partook in the arbitration representing Nigeria? Well, when they dig deep, they will get to know that. Now, where we are is that indeed the arbitration has come out, and of course, we have all gone down to look at through the memory lane to know that indeed, is it a contract? They say it's a contract. Was it properly entered into? That's the problem. The intro he has given shows that indeed the private project. It's a national project that needs the intervention of some statutory bodies. One of those bodies is the Infrastructure Regulation Commission, and of course the Bureau of Public Enterprise that he has mentioned. Those ones, by virtue of Section 2, particularly of the Bureau of the Regulatory Agency Commission, they have a right that before anything comes in, such contracts must have the approval of the Executive Council. And of course, the Executive Council, he said, that's fact now, knows nothing about this. And if they know nothing about it, then obviously it can't stand. And just as he said, before any contract comes in, there will be representations. And in law, we have what we call misrepresentation, right? So you said you have a piece of land for which the facility will be built and all. Eventually, it was found not to be so. That has vitiated the contract ab initio. So any claim based on it is faulty and cannot stand the test of time. And no law and no court of competent jurisdiction should award. And I'm sure in the wisdom of the British courts, believing and knowing fully well that such a thing shouldn't be in that way, invited the Nigerian government to come and defend and present its matter before the court. And I know that definitely this judgment will not stand the test of time. And to now further it, I'm happy with the wisdom in the legal team in Nigeria that they went and dug up the facts surrounding the whole so-called contract itself, now found out that indeed, what happened? All those who were involved, they have now been called, investigated, and found out that indeed it was corrupt practices all over. Because I get this Grace Tiger along the line, I learned that she was induced, and of course monies were found, not even local currency now, foreign currencies were found domiciled in our foreign account in Nigeria. And of course, all those were those matters presented before the court. Both her and Hamed, or what's the name of the guy? Mohammed. And of course, I learned that even one of the principal of one of the officers of P&ID is in the custody of EFCC now. They have secured a 14-day detention order to get him, and of course, maybe today or tomorrow he will be arraigned before a court of competent jurisdiction, of course, on economic and financial crime charges. But that again is one. Then the most important thing now is that all these facts, as my brother has said, is that they must present them before the court. And of course, but before that, they must register the judgment here. Because it's this judgment that they will use to prove that indeed the activities of this company in Nigeria from the onset is fraud. And they have discovered it, and they have gotten a judgment in that regard.
Okay, this is the judgment that I heard, and you'll be able to clarify that allegedly, over in the UK, they had said, we don't recognize the High Court judgment in Lagos.
No.
Nothing like that.
The High Court in Britain, in England, and the High Court in Nigeria have the same jurisdiction.
Okay.
So the issue of not recognizing does not come in. That would be an insult on the intelligence of both the Nigerian judiciary as a whole. That includes the lawyers.
Okay.
And, in fact, the Nigerian state. They cannot say that.
So they can't say that.
They can't say that because, fairness, those parties, all parties were represented in the court that took place, and in the trial that took place in Abuja, between the P&ID and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Okay. So it is a court that is done, and the trial that was held in the open court. And once a trial is held in the open court, and there are parties who represent there are lawyers who represent the parties, then obviously they can't say it's a kangaroo court. It's only in a kangaroo court that they will say, yeah, maybe because there are no parties, the other party is not represented, then you say that it's one-sided. But be that as it may, this one is a court that both parties were represented. The record of proceedings are there, and I'm sure that as we talk now, they are with these people in London, and and of course, don't forget the Evidence Act provides for recognizing acts of judicial activities, and of course court proceedings are judicial activities, and they must take cognizance of them.
Alhaji Rilwan Lukman, now late. If he were alive, no doubt he would have been central to all of this.
Very central.
He would have been very, very central.
Very central. All of this. You see, and so I don't think any attempts should be made. It would be a fair attempt to try to indict the present federal government for what has transpired. Okay. Because if you look at what has transpired, it started from 2010. Okay. The Buhari administration was not in power in 2010. And you understand me?
But how about with those who say that, well, when you people came, you didn't do due diligence, you didn't look around and see, because we were told at the time that, oh, the pigsty that we have to fix, we didn't know how bad it was. So why? Because this seems to be, to some critics, a bit late in the day.
Well, there may be some kind of merit in that accusation, but to now place the blame on this administration never originated the contract. How do you sign a contract that would bind the entire federal government?
And wasn't aware that it existed,
and
apparently.
You did not take such a contract to the Federal Executive Council.
That can be done ordinarily.
Secondly,
sorry, let me cut you short. Since that was what happened, then it's something secret.
Yes.
And if it's not brought into the open, there's no way the government will know about it.
Government could not know about it.
If not because, I said it in passing, if not because P&ID was not trying to enforce, won't have come in.
Yes.
And if everything has been done, everything has been done under the table, money has gone, they have already gotten way out, they have settled themselves, this thing will come out. That's why I said again in my initial opening statement that there are a lot of P&ID scams of that nature
Yeah,
around the oil
yeah.
industry.
Okay.
Now, that's why I told that the EFCC must go down and begin to go to various ministries and all these parastatals and so on, and begin to tell them, let them bring their books, let them bring their books as far as 2010, because it was during the Yar'Adua era when that man was sick that Andwaka came with the principle of the president can rule from any part of the world, that this wahala started, right? So to me, it is something that nobody can blame anybody for except those. I mean, the Yoruba will say it is the mind, of course, that knows how the evil is contriving. These people, it's something that was done in the secret. If not because those the PIDP people want their money.
Which money? What they are calling their money. Can you imagine?
Let me come in. You see, there are processes involved in signing and executing, awarding a contract of this nature. You see, there are several enactments, legislations, prescribing requirements that you need to satisfy in terms of due process. We have all of us are agreed that a contract of this nature cannot be, finalized or executed without the Federal Executive Council. That was not done. Secondly, it was after approval by the Federal Executive Council that it will be sent to the Federal Minister of Justice that will be entitled to vet the contract. That was Michael Andwaka, who was the then Attorney General, came out publicly to say that because FEC never considered the contract, it wasn't sent for its vetting, the Federal Minister of Justice was unaware of a contract of that magnitude binding Nigeria.
Yeah, how could that be?
And again, you represented, because under the contract, people who have raised criticisms about the contract should go and look at the contract. Because the contract was also tendered before the court.
Another legal name, Shashore, a lawyer Shashore, who actually, coincidentally, was Attorney General in Lagos, but that's not the point here. He also was involved in this, I understand, in terms of trying to understand it, and reportedly, had, as it were, handed over papers to this administration, government, that, look, this, so far, my investigations, and this is where I got to, and I'm stuck. Can you make sense of that particular aspect?
Well, you see, the question to ask is that since this administration became aware, has it taken steps? The answer is yes. Okay. Steps have all along been taken there. All of these proceedings that we are talking about, that is now a subject of, controversy. We had representations. Before the Arbitral Award was made in 2017, Nigeria was represented. We had lawyers who represented our interests.
Okay.
Even in the judgment of the English court, ratifying the award, we had lawyers. So it is not true that steps have not been taken, but except that in the area of investigating the fraudulent and corrupt practices that led to the execution of the contract, steps were not taken earlier enough.
Okay.
But now that steps, EFCC has swung into action, you can see the kind of, progress that has been recorded.
Yeah. In such a short time.
They've gone to Calabar.
That's the word, broke open. It was in the secret before.
Let me just, they've gone to Calabar, the Ministry of Lands in Calabar, and conducted, detailed searches, which indicated that there was no allocation of land, and that the fees that ought to have been paid by this company was not paid. So while representing the agreement, that you had a land waiting, allocated to you.
That was a lie.
That was a lie. Again, we found out that this P&D has been defaulting in terms of tax obligations.
Okay.
So,
so there also, all of this
you can,
but in the meantime, Mr. George, thank you very much for holding on. Good morning.
Uncle Yari, good morning to everybody.
Yes.
Uncle Yari, the first time this subject was discussed on this program, my first reaction was to blame the Attorney General for not looking at the files he met on ground.
But I knew you were going to come on, sort of develop that idea.
Well, we have said it.
He started from there.
Let us establish this thing.
I'm guessing that he wanted to say he has since revised that impression. I'm guessing.
Even before we guess for him, the foundation is that there will only be a file for something that is official.
Yeah.
If there is nothing official.
That is known. By official, you mean that is known. There was no awareness that this was hidden.
This contract is there. It's between some people, and they hid it somewhere. Yes. And that's why I'm saying that There are so many of such that
Wale,
are hidden.
Wale, you have made that point, and I think the anti-graft agencies will not.
Mazi Okorafor, thank you for coming on. Good morning.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, Barrister Wale and Barrister Shutu. Good morning, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Now, what I want us to look at this issue of Process and Industrial Development Limited, the Irish firm. Now, when they gave the judgment in Britain, does it mean there was no Nigerian lawyers in the court when these judgments were made? That's what I'm trying to find out from Barrister Wale and Barrister Shutu. I'm asking this question because if you go around and check what happened with the Bakase and the Nigerian government, Cameroon, at the end of the day, the judgment just came that's very, very glaring that the lawyers we took to the court now could not even defend the grassroots of the whole situation. At the end of the day, Nigerians were flawed. And the whole thing came back to, but this are right now. Look at what's happening now in Bakassi. You see the same pattern we are going to use with this issue that is going on presently. Because this is an issue that is very, very technical. This is an issue that's international law. This is an issue that has to do with the law of contracts. And which now you need competent hands and strong hands that know that the root causes of all this and the root causes of this legal camp, both locally and internationally, to back up Nigeria at this. It's not a question of politics. This one is more than politics. We need a real fact and people that will go there and defend and stand there because it's not a question of carrying sand. This and that. We need people that will go there and defend this issue so that Nigeria will know ourselves that we have legal authority, that people that have legal thought and legal facts to defend us outside Nigeria. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Lagos.
Indeed, thank you very much.
This is why we need to commend the work EFCC has done in the last few weeks. Very, very unprecedented. Investigations have been carried out up to the, like I said, the Cross River.
And all of this was following the case breaking open.
Yes. And then,
it was unknown before, but it broke open.
Even Bureau of Public Procurement has also come out to say there was no...
They don't know about it.
They don't know the contract was never referred to it. And then
In
even
fact,
FRS have said that this P&ID is guilty of several times.
But this P&ID, reportedly now, after this whole furore, is saying, well, can we talk? Can we negotiate? We're known to each other. It's so unfortunate that all of this is going on. Did you know? It's laughable to me. Yes. You chuckle.
As I speak, P&ID's activities in Nigeria have been wound up.
Wound up.
Yep.
So they have no business.
They have been wound up. And following these corrupt practices and fraud discovered by the court, and then they said all the assets should be anywhere found should be forfeited to the federal government. So now they now know that the battle has now been taken to their court.
Joshua in Irewale, good morning, sir.
Okay, Uncle Yori, good morning, and I greet your guests. Sure. Quickly, I would crave your indulgence that they probably take our observations and then address them totally. In 2010, I read an article, Owners of Nigeria. That was the first place I saw this P&ID. That was the first place I saw this thing. Now, I understand a bit of what is happening here. The whole contract we know is a scam, but we need to be careful. Now, let me ask the learned people there.
The learned
how can gas be supplied to a facility that does not exist? Because gas processing is not something, it's not air. It's something that is, liquid and all that. So if P&ID did not have a facility built, how can gas be supplied to them to process?
Isn't that part of the scam? That's the whole scam nature of the whole thing.
Yes. We know that everything is a scam. But now, be careful because there are people who are collaborators, Nigerians who are collaborators,
yes.
And they are going to protect their interests on this matter.
Yes.
Now, I want to ask about the forfeiture, the judgment on forfeiture. What I understand by that judgment is that whatever belongs to P&ID now belongs to Nigeria. So even the judgment that they got, if the money were to go in their favor, they will have to forfeit everything to Nigeria. So it means that we are now the master owning the slave. So I want them to explain that forfeiture.
Okay.
If it covers, everything that belongs to them, will revert back to Nigeria.
Okay.
And like the lawyer there said, there are many P&ID issues in Nigeria. That is the key point. So don't let us bury the past. Let's investigate the past and recover our assets where we can.
Okay, Joshua, I'm sure the lawyers will be able to deal with that, but that will be after a break. We've got to go on a quick break. Please don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll continue to take your calls right after this. Okay, welcome back. And two lawyers in the house, Wale Ogunade and Wahab Shitu, to help us understand the whole, quite frankly, P&ID mess. And I think we're getting a bit of enlightenment, more so those of us that are, as they put it, non-legal minds. In other words, non-learned people. Nevertheless, we hear them. So, Wahab.
Yeah, the last person who intervened spoke my
Talking
mind.
about forfeiture.
Forfeiture. No, before we go to that, apart from that, the other fraudulent dealings here is that you cannot deal in petroleum products without license.
Without license?
Yes.
Okay.
Investigators have found that P&ID had no license to deal in petroleum products. So that's very funny.
You know, the little bit that that you know, when you read this, the original founder of the place was the manager of a music band, for God's sake. He'd done all sorts of jobs,
you know,
all sorts of
so
jobs
the
in his life.
foundation is rooted.
It is his son now who is saying that I'm ready to talk.
The
Can
foundation
we
of the
negotiate?
entire contract is rooted in monumental
Fraud. And I think Nigerians
deception.
Yes.
Abuse, violations
Deceit.
of money laundering laws, violation of tax obligations, and even violation of our laws in terms of public procurement. All of this has been established.
Who
But
knows
talking
what
of
other P&IDs are lurking around unseen as yet?
You agree with me now? You
and
agree with
then
me
the
that there are
forfeiture
many?
proceedings.
Yes, speak on that.
Forfeiture proceedings. You see, corruption is in the realm of corrupt practices. And corruption has a global and international dimension. So that if P&D assets is forfeited in Nigeria or anywhere found, it will also attach to the judgment.
Okay, let me bring in Reverend Dominic. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yori. How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Yori, quickly, good morning, Shitu. Good morning, Wale.
Good morning.
Quickly, let me tell you about ANAPI and ID in Nigeria.
Thank you.
It's what we call oil theft. In 2013, it was a worry to PDP and Jonathan government. Now somebody, Dr. Bob came out, Dr. Bob, the former chief of militants came out and said that oil theft is an insult to them, who are the lost in Niger Delta. That they have an agreement with Yaradua. God bless his memory. That Yaradua, they have an agreement with him that when the federal government gives 2 million barrels, that any other thing that is due behind, that they are the warlords, we take it. That nobody is stealing oil. They are taking that one as their own. Last 2 weeks, I had a report. How many thousands of millions of barrels that was stolen? There was no stolen oil. There was people who taking this oil in name of P&ID. The same thing happened here. Let me give you information. If this money is $1 billion or $2 billion US, I want to say this. I supported AP's government. This P&ID agents will still go to the government and clear the money. There are many monies that are paid in Nigeria that we cannot give account of it. The same thing happening today. If the government of the day is serious, they should find out other P&ID in name of oil theft. Nobody stealing oil. Oil is not a biscuit. Oil is not an ant. It's a virus and it's a closed version. The warlords have told us nobody stealing oil. It's their own agreement. That's not P&ID. Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Dominic. Wale, you wanted to add to the matter as it relates to this whole forfeiture that was brought up?
Yes, obviously. There is a Yoruba adage that says that the owner of the slave, the property of the slave belongs to the owner of the slave. Right. So let's assume, without conceding, that indeed even the commercial court in London will agree.
Yourself, but in 2019, where are the slaves? Some of
No,
these
I'm just going. It's like that.
That particular one.
We have a forfeiture. We have a forfeiture order against the P&ID,
Nigeria,
and in Virginia, right? So wherever their assets are, all over the world, it's subject to this forfeiture order of the Nigerian government because it was given by a court of competent jurisdiction.
Okay.
So what it means is that whenever there's wherever they have their assets, it is forfeited. So let's assume that even they now win this case. Let's assume so. We have a forfeiture order.
Just
against
as people
them.
say, assuming without conceding.
Yeah,
No,
we are not, yeah.
I'm also I'm of the view that they cannot even win this case.
Now I'm just even stretching it.
yes.
You know,
I'm
this
just
is,
stretching it.
this is what you just said is
Yes,
heartwarming because we're talking about
what I'm saying is this: because any contract, local or international,
It's subject.
is subject to complying with the
With
fundamentals.
their
of the
fundamentals of
contract.
contract.
So if we are alleging,
there must not be fraud. There must not be no
whatever the
inducement.
legal
if we are
representation.
alleging corrupt practice, not just alleging, a court of competent jurisdiction has ruled that there was corrupt practices. And if you are also alleging massive fraud and non-compliance with our domestic legal
Misrepresentation
framework,
too.
UK is a sovereign state. Nigeria is also a sovereign state. And UK is proceeding under its laws. We are also proceeding under our laws, provided we are able to register those judgments. And I'm sure the legal, that's why we need to commend the serving Attorney General. We need to also commend the FCC for what they have done. And the team of lawyers who brought the case before, and the judge for rising to the occasion. If you look at the judgment delivered by Justice Echo, you see the painstaking judgment. He insisted that all the parties were represented,
And
that all the
documents
documents were brought
presented.
available. The agreement was tendered before him.
Okay.
The agreement was tendered before the statements of all the accused persons were also tendered, and all the various investigations.
But it's mind-boggling. Sorry,
Yes.
it's mind-boggling that the arbitration panel, if that is what it is called in the UK, because it also would have been based on law. I understand when you say it
Yes,
doesn't
in
have
fact,
the power to actually,
let me
that
just
it
quickly-
can't produce a judgment. But one moment, please, because we have Yakub, who has been waiting ever since Barrister Wali was speaking. Good morning, Yakub, and sorry for keeping you waiting.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, good morning to Jerry. And then good morning to the two barrister in the studio.
Thank you.
To Jerry, I think I quite agree with Mr. Wale Ogwade. Reason being that there's a lot of P&ID is going on in this country. If EFCC can do more, they'll be able to find a lot of P&ID issue in our system. To Jerry, you see, this is Nigeria is a so funny country. All this kind of a scam can happen in Nigeria. Does it mean that this kind of a scam can never happen in China? You know why? Why? Because they know that whatever they caught you, before you even go to court, you know that this case I'm blotting it, and at the same time, the death penalty is the answer for me. You dare not do that. Imagine a country in Nigeria does not have it does not even have a land in the cross river or Port Harcourt, case may be. And then our money just goes the way it is. And then they are not there. We are going to lose almost 9.something billion. I give kudos to EFCC.
Thank you.
They should do more.
Thank you.
Nigerian citizens, they were saying that EFCC, they are not winning the case. We even have a lawyer. I don't want to mention this. There are always balls. Wherever you are there, it's evident that I want EFCC this, I want EFCC. Everywhere, I always win the EFCC. This time around now, I know that Mr. Ward Titu is one of the EFCC lawyers. I don't know, maybe we still continue that aspect.
Yes, I'm there.
He can be able to prove now that yes, I'm fighting for Nigerian court. Now that EFCC be able to do this, kudos to them once again.
Thank you.
And then a lot of atrocities is happening during the Yaradua era because they know that the gentleman, the president, a very good actman, then he was ill. And then the people collaborate with this P&ID people. They commit a lot of atrocities, But I want to say this. The present government will be able to go deep than this so that they can be able to find the collaborator and then bring them to justice. You see, if I have my way, I always say this. You may not agree with me. I always say this. The capital punishment should be able to go to everybody that commits any atrocity in terms of our resources that made for ordinary citizens in this country.
I agree with
They
your
have to do that.
Yeah.
Our legislators be able to push for that. I know they will not do that because some of them will be able to cut along the line. They will never do that. But if they can be able to do that for us, we'll be happy. Because if you know that when you corrupt and then they find you, they cut you, the death penalty is answered. You don't know about that. A rich man don't
don't want to die. That's it. That's how God bless you.
Thank you very
Anyway,
much.
I think
well, EFCC,
Yes.
they really, quite frankly, they got our back on this.
They
this,
did
so-
well.
And it is kudos to
On
them
this,
Yes.
that
this.
they
Kudos to
really,
Magu.
And this, listen.
Magu.
they really opened it all up. Now it has broken out. And there's no way, because without the efforts of the EFCC, we couldn't have the clarity that we seem to have on
Yes,
the matter.
let me just please let me.
Okay.
And then I think we need to support EFCC to do more. But we are talking of our Commonwealth here. If our Commonwealth is an issue,
But
all
when you
Nigerians.
say support EFCC,
We are supporting
I'm
you.
saying that
Everyone-
the
Nobody
populace,
against
we
them.
shouldn't
Okay.
Everyone is with
celebrate, we
you.
shouldn't celebrate those who
okay,
acquire
okay.
our Commonwealth
Okay.
at our expense.
Okay, Wale, you
Yes.
wanted to say something.
Yes, again, when I was along the line, I had an information that this P&ID also said that they will be using a facility, offshore facility or something, in Bakassi Island. That is in Cameroon. And obviously, that island is not part of Nigeria. And obviously, because it's not part of Nigeria, there is no way we can enforce anything with them in that regard, because it's an offshore, is another country entirely. To that extent, what I'm trying to establish again is that the whole contract itself was based on misrepresentation, deceit, and of course, fraud.
Okay, one moment, please. Christopher in Warri, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Okuyori.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
You see, this whole issue now tell all Nigerians what we, the citizens, have been passing through. Because it came to tell everybody, both those that live here and those that live in abroad, that people with vested power and upon, they are not our shepherd. Let me use that word.
They don't have our best interests at heart.
At all. Now, if you have a government from 1999, because some of those issues, we thank God that EFCC, they have this time allowed dig deep to find out what actually goes wrong in 2010. Now, the last caller mentioned some particular lawyers in this country who always discredit EFCC. Or we know them. But my own stake of this whole issue is that we should, all Nigerians to collaborate with EFCC. The lot the PDP put in Nigeria from 1999 to 2014 down to 2015, we all be grateful to God to bring in this present government. Because as a man, if you want to build your house, you must start from foundation. And if you think that you want to attain a BSc holder without going to primary one, at the end of the day, you will end up being denied your certificate.
I hear you. Well, I want to thank you very much, Christopher, for calling in. Indeed, as you are saying, kudos to EFCC. And then this administration, because what is implied in what you're saying is that had it not been this administration, had it been a similar administration to the one when all of this went down, this wouldn't have come to light.
Yes.
EFCC might not have been able to proceed.
Yeah, this is why I want to particularly appeal to this administration to take advantage of the massive goodwill it enjoys amongst Nigerians to be united. This is not a time to start any division, whether these rumors flying around attempt to sideline anybody.
Okay, between the vice president and the
I think
president,
the vice president
and all sorts of fantastical stories that are going on. There's the presidency.
The president and the vice president, they represent our moral, authority, and they should be working together. And we are happy that they are together.
Okay.
And they should not allow any kind of division between these two.
Okay.
So that this administration can deliver.
Well, I knew you wanted to say something, but let me quickly take Mohammed in Dublin. Good morning, Mohammed.
Oh, he should join the
Good
team
morning,
of lawyers.
Mr. Yori.
Yes.
And good morning, my learned. Good morning, the learned.
If you want to say learned brothers, I'll then know you are a lawyer. If you want to say learned friends, I know you are a lawyer. But I see you hesitated. Are you a lawyer?
I'm not really. I'm not a lawyer.
No wonder you hesitated after learning. But they're learned minds. They're learned minds.
I am very. I'm very happy today the way I listen to them.
Thank you.
Yeah. whatever happened, the way Nigeria proceedings are going is all a joy to every Nigerian living everywhere. There are administrations before now, a lot of things have been happening that was not brought to the notice of ordinary Nigerians to be aware of what is happening. For Nigeria to present this matter before public and the public domain, that is even another credit. I'm very, very happy. All what Nigeria should join hands to do now, Ibrahim Magu, Commissioner of Police Ibrahim Magu, should be presented before the National Assembly again.
For confirmation.
To be a chairman.
Yes, for confirmation.
No matter what happens, this is his time for him to become a chairman. He has really proven himself. The very moment he was given that appointment, Nigerians were all crying because they know his person, his personality. He's not a friend to corrupt Nigerians. And many of them know what they are going to face.
Okay.
That is why they don't want him to be. The Almighty Allah wants him to be.
Okay, thank you very much for Mohammed. Thank you very much. Mohammed, appreciate your call. Thank you very, very much for calling in. Now, as we say, just in case you're joining us now, our legal team is in the UK. They're working towards, they're fighting the actual, getting any kind of strength to what was an arbitral award. And here we are now, but it is on Thursday that they shall actually be in the courts, but they've been there since yesterday, just to give some sort of a background.
Yes, they'll be trying to oppose attempt to enforce the judgment.
Yes, yes.
And then they will be trying to make the case
judgment registered
they will register the judgment and try to present those documents and those judgments before the court.
So Nigerian lawyers will actually plead. They will plead this case in a UK court.
In the UK court.
Alongside lawyers, if they have any, of P&ID.
So we should wish them the best of luck.
And you said inter alia that based on all the things you've said, there's absolutely no way we won't win this case.
I'm certain that we can make a good case for corrupt practices and fraud against P&ID based on the judgment of that court of competent jurisdiction. And conclusively.
Which court of competent? Our one here.
Yes.
The one in Lagos.
Yes, they are presenting the judgment.
Yes.
And again, finally, this is something I want to make, is that Nigerians will rise as one body. Because this is an attempt, to steal,
to defraud the country of our whole Commonwealth.
It's not a fight for Buhari government alone.
Every one of us.
It's a fight for all Nigerians.
Indeed.
And we should rise, support the government in ensuring that.
And let me just quickly say it, that fraud is something that is fundamental.
Could you please indulge us? I'll come straight back to you because Nuruddin in Bauchi wants to join the conversation. I'll come straight to you after. Is it Nuruddin in Barkinladi? Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, sir.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Yes. I've been wanting to be involved in the program for a long time. This is just the first time I'm getting you.
Oh, we're delighted you could make it this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to comment on the issue on ground, sir.
Sure.
I wonder since why Ibrahim Magu has not been confirmed. Because the issue in Nigeria about corruption is killing us. I'm a youth. I've graduated from Abubakar Malami University, but I'm still at home because of these people that have been stealing our assets. Ibrahim Magu should have been confirmed since before now, but we thank God about this on your program that you have been talking about. What I want to say here is that EFCC should do more because there is more problem on ground, more than this.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nuruddin. That goes back to what Wahab said earlier, that they should support them. I say, how do you support them? Probably,
confirm Magu.
Volunteer
information to EFCC.
And then
see something, do something, say something.
Okay.
To take it up from where Wahab said, I guess the most important thing is that all of us must be involved in making Nigeria a better place. Yes. The young man said that he's left university, he has no job. All of us are all victims if we refuse to talk against the societal evils that are happening. And where am I going? Is that along us, you see some people running into sudden wealth. You see people running, just you know that things are happening. All you need to do is to report to all the relevant agencies, and they will take it up from there. And of course, remove or get to the root of it. That is one. Then second one about the cry of that young man, I'm sure we'll have shit too. And of course, politicians, all these people, it is the work of the Senate to confirm Magu. Of course, the presidency will take his name back to the Senate. And I'm sure with this avalanche of activities, particularly this one, just as I've said, and I agree with you, that Nigerians have the back of EFCC on this. And of course, this is the...
No, actually, I said EFCC has our back.
Sorry, EFCC has
EFCC has our back
so
on
you
this.
Can be sure that...
I mean, you can't think of a more public-spirited kind of action.
So to me, I want to believe that indeed...
I'm being told someone else is on the line. Is that what I'm hearing? No?
So I want to believe that indeed...
Prince Raji in Ikorodu, did I get that right?
Yes, please.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
I salute you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
My brother there, Wahab Shitu.
Yes, thank you.
It's my very good brother. And I greet the other learned friend there.
That one is not your very good brother.
I'm his very good adversary.
However,
I'm his good adversary.
No, joke. Please continue, Prince.
However, I'm an engineer.
Yes,
and,
yes.
I grew up with Loa Shitu.
Okay.
And someone I know right from
Okay.
Lagos.
Okay.
Honestly speaking, I am highly impressed with what you are saying. In a very short statement I want to make is that the issue of PI and ID, I think it's a foregone conclusion. There's no way these people can win. I thank God for having people like Buhari and Magu on ground and the cream of people that are surrounding them, working with them. I think what we need to do at home is that to continue to pray for them to succeed. Because if they succeed, it's going to be to the betterment of everybody. Okay. But they should dig more and fish out more. And whoever is found guilty should be fired, brought out the daylight, give them bullets, and then so that we can move forward, please.
Okay.
We need to sanitize this country.
All right then. Thank you very much, Prince, for calling in. We've run out of time. It always happens when we're really having fun like this and learning new things. But after winning this case, because I'm assuming that, and I know most Nigerians...
No, we are going to win.
Now,
we are going to win.
After winning this, there are probably going to be fallouts locally.
Yes.
I'm just imagining.
Yes.
Because all of these things has to be mopped up. And people keep on saying there are many more P&IDs that the EFC is going to have to focus on. So very, very briefly, please. We've run out of time.
On a personal level, I feel very happy because I've supported and defended Magu from the onset.
Okay.
At great risk to my life and my reputation. Because I saw Magu as somebody who's genuine.
Okay.
And those who are opposed to his candidacy are those, it's like corruption fighting back.
Okay.
So I think the first thing we need to do is to confirm Magu. The second thing we need to do is to collaborate with this administration in fighting corruption.
Okay.
If we are talking of development, we cannot achieve any meaningful development without addressing the issue of corruption.
Thank you very much, Wahab.
Yes.
Very, very briefly, please.
My own is that definitely we know that these are trying period for Nigeria, and we need to pray for our leaders. Those who are working to making Nigeria a better place need to be prayed for, because there are evil people out there who do not want them to succeed. Why? Because we got to this level because some people covered this thing and made it dark. And of course, some people represented Nigeria to this level and played the ostrich. And again, I want the AFCC to look at all those who were involved in this process up to the time it blew, because of course, people represented us at the arbitration panel. So definitely, what role did they play? Because I know that the court is not a Federal Christmas.
Exactly.
It is only what you present before the court. And if you present a shabby work before the court will work on that shabby thing.
Exactly.
And that's where I'm going, that I have that confidence that this time around, with all the serious work that has been done, obviously the double will be turned.
Thank you
against
very much,
this
Wale
judgment.
Ogunade. And so we have a crack legal team over there.
Balasanga?
You have a crack legal team.
Yes.
And, we have to leave it here for now because we don't have the time. But we just have to pray for that legal team, in addition to all the prayers that are going out. Yes. Pray for the legal team. We'll let them go there. You've said, Father, the court is no Father Christmas. They will do a good job. There's no way we're losing out on what are 9 point how much?
0.6 billion. 20% of our foreign reserve.
No.
You want to kill Nigeria?
It's not going to happen.
It's not a small
Exactly. So I
can't happen.
want to thank you very much, Wale Ogunade.
To
Thank
God
you very
be the
much.
glory.
Lawyer and human rights activist, and Wahab Shitu, lawyer, lecturer at the University of Lagos, and indeed, for that matter, you're a friend of the of the house because you're an EFCC lawyer yourself. Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for sharing with us and enlightening, shedding some light on this, a bit more light on the, in fact, plenty more light on this issue. So that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.